One of the number one lessons I've learned through photography is that everyone's perspective is really unique and it's also important. Photography has helped me see, we all see through different lenses and everyone should be valued in that kind of way.
Yo, what is good, creators? Welcome to the Create to Inspire Corner, where I, your host Coriel, interview creators from around the world, allow them to share their stories to give you some of the creative inspo you need so you can go on and create to inspire in your own community. And today's main topic is all about learning from the lessons of life so that we can truly embrace our best selves, elevate, and inspire others while doing so. And today's featured creative is Josh the Creative, and he's a photographer, and he's currently learning from the lessons of life as he continues to embrace his passion for photography. Anyways, get right into it. Josh, thank you for coming to the Create to Inspire Corner. How you doing, man?
Thanks, Coriel. Really appreciate it. I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm started the new school year and just getting into the swing of things. So I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy to be here, happy to be alive, happy to be able to create.
So starting off, man, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your passions, and what you like to create.
So I'm Joshua Kinyanjui. That's my legal name, but on Instagram and social media, Josh the Creative. And so a little bit about me. I am mainly a photographer and videographer, but I also write like music and poetry. So I do a little songwriting and do a little writing on the side. And I really love to create. That's why I chose the name Josh the Creative, because I have a lot of talents, I believe, that haven't been fully formed, but I really just want to create as much as possible. And I think it does inspire others. So I think the name for your show is perfect.
I appreciate it, man. So tell us, what inspired you to start getting into photography? And speaking of which, I didn't know you did writing and poetry as well. It's pretty dope, man. How long have you been doing that for? Let's start with that first.
So I started writing like first when I was in 7th grade. So it was like journaling. I would try to like write like my thoughts onto the page, and the way my mind was processing it was just that everything just started rhyming and like flowing. So as I was journaling my feelings down, it was just start like flowing into poetry and stuff like that. So I actually had started writing poetry, and way before I got into photography. But what got me into photography was the fact that I could not draw. So yeah, it really crazy. So my mom really loves like sunsets and sunrises and all those things. And one of her favorite painters was Thomas Kincaid. And he paints these really, like it's his painting. Like he paints kind of like dreamy landscapes and things like that, especially in wintertime. And I would see like these sunsets and all these other crazy things, and I would try to draw it, but then I couldn't draw. So I was like, you know what, Mom, can I use your phone? And I was just started taking pictures.
Nice.
16, I was on a mission trip to Jamaica with my mom. That's where she's from. And I took a picture on my iPhone 7 or on my iPhone 6. And people were like, wow, you should pursue photography. So I got back to the States, and through some connections at church, I was able to buy a camera. And everything is history from then.
All right, that's hype, man. So what's kind of like the most, I guess, photography projects you do? What is kind of the main focus do you have? Are you just like pretty much any kind of photography, or is there a certain focus, or?
So I really enjoy portraits. I think portraits, that's my strong suit. Portrait photography is my strongest area. And along with that, I really like street photography. So street photography, including like people in those photos, that does encapsulate portraits, but I also like architecture and things like that, like nightlife. And then like more professionally, I do weddings and portraits. But to be creative, I really like to do street photography and those kind of like less formal, grungy portraits.
Yeah. That's hype, man. So I know we actually connected with each other through one of our past features, IRG. So how's that experience, man? To collaborate, network, and just be surrounded by artists passionate about what they do.
It's been really awesome. I remember when Isaac first, or IRG first approached me, because we met at school, and he knew I was into photography and things like that. So he originally asked me if I'd be willing to help him out with a project, with filming the EP for Too Much to Type, that documentary. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's figure it out. And he brought Christian and Zach, the main two. Christian was the other artist, like vocalist, and Zach did all our producing. And we plan to do that in the spring of 2020. So the spring of 2020, right before the pandemic hit. And we're on spring break, and I'm filming all these things, taking all their portraits, and it was a lot of fun. And it's super, super awesome. I love being able to have a community. We all have like the same goal, the same focus, and it's inspiring. And I like to see how we all push each other, and we keep a group chat going. We promote each other as much as possible, and we just try to lift each other up and help each other get better at our respective crafts.
That's hype, man. So kind of getting into kind of the main topic, of our interview today was the reason I chose today's topic, which is learning from the lessons of life, is because sometimes it can feel like we're just living passively. You know what I mean? Like we're going through life, going through the motions, making mistakes here and there. But are we really learning from those mistakes and kind of fixing those, tweaking those, see how we can grow and elevate? And so that's kind of what I want to talk about today, how we can actively, live life purposefully, you know what I mean? And so starting off, I want to ask you, what's one or two main lessons that you've learned in your journey of pursuing photography, and how has it shaped, who you are today?
I would definitely say one of the number one lessons I've learned through photography is that everyone's perspective is really unique, and it's also important. Because when you capture a photo, when you make a photo, it's through your eye lens first. You have to see through that lens before you can actually take a picture with your camera. And everyone sees these different literal like angles and things that are created around us as beauty. So it's really subjective, and that has helped me to learn not to judge people based on their opinions, judge them based on how they see the world, and that how a lot of our opinions, all of them are valuable to me, and they should be weighed equally. So photography has helped me see like that we all see through different lenses, and that everyone should be valued in that kind of way.
Yeah, so can you tell me a little bit more about that, subjective kind of concept you were just talking about? What helped you did you ever struggle with kind of that subjectiveness of other people, maybe saying, oh, I like this one, but I don't like this one, that kind of thing? How are you able to kind of not look over that, but kind of get over that? Because I know this personally, as a creative myself, it can be sometimes, hard having different, opinions about different things. How are you able to overcome that and really stay grounded and faithful in what you create?
Yeah, so for sure, it is extremely difficult as a creative to kind of form your own brand, form my own brand, and become who I am, and still like learning and growing, and not letting people's opinions of something that I think is good and they're like, no, that sucks, like weigh me down. Because when I create, when I take a photo, with whatever I do, it's kind of like you're giving birth to a baby in a sense. And then when someone like comes in and like critiques it, it's like, oh my gosh, that hurts.
Yeah.
But it's not always like a personal attack. Sometimes it is a personal attack. But I think how I get through that is I kind of like learn to sift through what is helpful and what really isn't helpful. If someone's trying to be constructive or not. And really ultimately knowing that, okay, what is my goal when I'm trying to create? And knowing that I know my goal and my focus, and I know this is what I've planned out to do, and this is what I think is accomplishing that. And if I see that people respond to that well, or I feel fulfilled by doing whatever I'm doing, then I know that, okay, I'm not gonna let someone else's opinion make me waver.
Yeah, man. So I know one thing that's important to you also is being able to conquer, fear and trying new things. Can you share about a time where you're put in a position where you were kind of had to, I guess, conquer not necessarily fear, but something that you weren't used to, and kind of just go after it and go do it?
So definitely this summer was film photography. I remember I was doing an engagement session with my boss, and she's like, okay, we're going to try film. We stop at this place in DC because I live right by DC. So we stop in this place. We're going to the Kennedy Center, pick up some film. And she's like, this is how you load it. You already know how to shoot manual. Tells me a couple more tips. Just do it. Throws me into it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is just crazy. Because with film photography, it's so expensive. You know what I mean? Like a roll of film is expensive. It's not like you're just taking a photo on an SD card and you can just like delete it, buy a new SD card or whatever. Everything's digital. But film is like you can't like really redo that photo in a sense. And like it's tricky. You can't preview it. You can't when you take a photo, you can't look at the LCD because there's no LCD. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just do what my boss says. She believes in me. I got to trust my instincts. And when I really stepped out and tried film photography for the first time, my photos came out amazing. My boss was like, wow, like some of these are better than the ones I took.
Oh.
And she included some of my photos into the gallery that she sent her client. And that was like really huge. I was like, okay, there's not much to be afraid of. And another thing is with fear, it's like if I'm scared of failing, then that probably means this is something I should try.
Mm.
And if I do fail, then I can learn from it.
Amen to that, man. Amen to that. So tell me a little bit about that was an internship you said you were in over the summer, right? Can you tell me a little about that experience? 'Cause I think that mentorship is another way we can truly learn from the lessons of life. Not only our experiences, but also the experiences of other people, and just being able to receive input, receive lessons that they've learned in their lives. So how has mentorship played a part in your life, and what do you think is the importance of that when approaching whatever passion that someone has?
So this kind of ties in with my story of that first photo that got me started when I was 16. So when I came back to the States, I was at my friend's birthday party, and he had our youth pastor and his wife over, and I started talking to my youth pastor's wife, and I hadn't met them before because I was like in and out of the youth group and stuff. And turns out that she was a photographer. So we started talking, and I was showing her the photos I took on my phone. And then I bought 5 years later, when I was 21, I just turned 22. But 5 years later, I'm looking for an internship for credit for school. So I messaged my youth pastor's wife, who's a photographer who I've known for a while now at this point. And I'm like, hey, what do you think about me being an intern for you? She's like, wow, this is a huge blessing because I actually need more help because clients and all this stuff is picking up. So it's perfect timing. And everything came full circle because I bought my first camera from her. And then I began to learn and be mentored and inspired from her. I did learn a lot of life lessons about managing a business and managing your emotions within the business, because when you're starting your own business, and I know you know this, like when you're starting your own business and it's a creative kind of thing and it's your passion, when people accept it or reject it, it can hurt. Like it can hurt a lot. And it's like you have to learn to, she was teaching me that I had to learn to kind of be okay with like being rejected and knowing that, okay, that's fine. Maybe you're not my dream client. You're not the goal. You're not the person I'm looking for in a sense. So I think mentorship played a huge role. I saw my growth from like the very first day I started my internship, which was May 24th. I started my internship. She let me use one of her cameras and I started taking photos. I immediately saw a huge difference just from like the tips she gave me and then using her gear. And it was just like, okay, now I think I can move forward. And it was the huge boost I need to kind of get started with my own business now.
That's right, man. So yeah, starting your own business with photography. Yeah, can you tell us a little more about that vision that you have, for yourself and the photography business field? Combining your passion and making it into a career, I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure. So as a creative, we have multiple dreams, I think. So for me, I I want to, at one point before, so my end goal is to own a production company that does like commercial work and narrative films along with documentaries. And with that, I want to be able to make enough money from the for-profit world, from doing like corporate stuff or creative stuff, whatever, to also help out nonprofits and churches and things like that, because they don't have a lot of creativity or direction, creative direction. And then I also want to be able to help out underprivileged kids, um, teenagers who don't know, like, man, sports or intelligence is the only way I can get out of the situation that I'm in. But to let them know that no, you can become an artist and you can create and you can do multiple things. You don't have to be like the most intelligent, intellectual human being, but I want to be able to inspire these younger people to learn that, okay, I can actually have a career in creating something, and also maybe help out, get rid of the stigma that like every artist is starving and that like like a life as an artist is gonna suck and we're all depressed. I want to get rid of
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that you have, this passion of yours, but you're also giving it a purpose that also is helping other people. I think that's really important, to not only have this desire, this passion you have, but what's your why? Why do you want to do what you're doing? Because you love it, and also you want to be able to help and inspire other people. So I love that. I love that vision, man. And so now I want to kind of transition into what I call the creative question of the day. All right, you ready? Yes,
Let's
sir.
go.
Let's get it. All right. So you are given a camera. This is a brand new camera, and it's like in the future. All right. In this camera, when you look through the lens and you adjust the lens, stuff like that, you're able to travel through time. All right. And so with this camera, you're able to go to the past, and you have the ability to only capture one photo. What moment in history? It could be your life, a crazy national disaster, whatever it is. You can capture one photo from the past. What photo would you capture?
Mm. Ooh, honestly, it's gonna sound gory, but I would want to capture the crucifixion of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, wow, yeah. That'd be an amazing capture.
Like, yeah, it would be super bloody. Like that's like some next level, like rated
Yeah.
R kind of stuff. But
R, yeah, double R. Yeah, that's a good pick though.
I would want to do that just because like faith is important to me, and also historically, like he changed so much, and I think a lot of people like would like to know what Jesus looked like for real.
Yeah. Yeah, we always get those. We always get those like images of people like drawing him and stuff like that. But like, we kind of want to see what he actually looks like. So that's a good pick, man. That's a good pick. I love that. All right, bro. So my last question for you have today is, what does the phrase "create to inspire" mean to you?
Mm. So create to inspire, what that phrase means to me is that like creating is a judgment free zone. But we should, when I'm creating, I need to create with intention, not just for, I'm going to create just for this moment. And I'm not thinking forward. I'm not thinking about who it's going to impact later. But I think it's about creating with intention to inspire and fuel somebody else, to like someone can think, wow, that was really cool, that photo or that line or whatever that I do, even if it's like cooking food, just like inspires someone to move forward or get up or try something new in their life. That's what create to inspire means to me. I think I just think that's a huge, amazing phrase, because that's what's happened to me. If my mom didn't love creation and the skies and all those things that were created, if she didn't like Thomas Kincaid, um, his paintings inspired my mom, and my mom's enjoyment of that inspired me to create. And I believe that my photography has inspired other people and I'm able to help other people out. So it's just like this chain reaction of people who are creating and they're inspiring others to create.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Josh. Where can people follow you, support you, check out your social media, any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so right now I am on Instagram at Josh period the creative, and that's my main platform right now. I will be launching a YouTube channel and a website soon. I'm cooking up I have some things in the works, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm excited.
Sounds good, man. Josh, once again, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me, talking about, life lessons in your life. And for you guys watching at home, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I hope you guys are able to apply some of those life lessons that Josh talked about to your own life so that you can truly elevate and go on and create to inspire. Peace.